Welcome back. With us right now is Dr. Trin. And the last time that Iggy was on with us, he talked about his trip to Boston and talked about the Alzheimer's meeting. I think there's like 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
And you would tell us, you would elaborate a little bit more about it. Well, welcome back.
Right.
And that's what you're going to do today, because you brought along some slides that we're going to look at.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, so welcome back.
Thank you so
Always
much.
good to have you here today. So this meeting, and as you said last time, was really sort of a culmination of people who work in this industry looking at different studies,
Right.
what's coming on the horizon, what seems to be working, what's
Yes,
not.
definitely.
Am I right?
It is an international meeting of the top researchers around the world who are working on better treatment and better ways to diagnose and looking for prevention techniques, including prevention through lifestyle, like dietary changes and things of that sort.
Right.
So I'm going to give you a little snippet today of what I'll be talking about, I think, Friday, December 15th in Clubhouse 5.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm going to share a lot more there, but I wanted to give you some highlights for the community and some stuff that I thought was pretty interesting.
All right. We've got this first chart that you sent us up, and obviously I'm going to let you kind of go through it and explain it.
So very interesting. Most of us kind of know about the benefits of eating more vegetables as opposed to meat. And we have data actually, specifically looking at and published just in 2016. That was last year, right?
Yeah.
Journal, American College of Nutrition. The correlation between eating meat and LOAD. LOAD stands for late onset Alzheimer's disease.
Okay.
The correlation between meat intake and Alzheimer's. Pretty interesting. You see a straight line going up.
Yeah.
The more meat intake over 5 years using basically, I think, surveys of patients and folks, and that association with Alzheimer's disease prevalence. And there's a direct link.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, yeah.
It's scary at the same
It
time.
is. I wanted to ask you, I was looking at this, you sent these to me the other day, and I was looking at them. Looking at the chart on the right, R value, P value. So I'm looking at that, I would think the R value isn't kind of what you want. I don't know, but why don't you explain?
Yes. Basically, these are statistics that we look at. And these statistics tell us how close to what I call close to the real data, how statistically significant each of these food correlation is to the data. It tells me that we have decreased, let's say, chance, or we've decreased the possibility that these results are random, are caused by random chance. So these statistics tell you how close they are to the reality of the association between meat and Alzheimer's disease and meat intake with that. It's scary because I think of the American diet.
Right.
And obviously many of us are meat and potatoes type folks with that. And I think of, Orange County Alzheimer's disease as the 3rd leading cause of death. And nationally, I believe it's the 6th leading cause of death.
Wow.
That is compared to other countries. And that correlation is shown right here.
Yeah, and we'll put up the next slide here. Getting back to it very quickly, and we've talked about this before, people don't think about Alzheimer's as a cause of death.
Right, that's correct.
They just think of, they're losing their memory.
That's correct. Losing your memory doesn't kill anyone. Losing your memory and forgetting to take your blood pressure pills will kill you from high blood pressure uncontrolled. Losing your memory and forgetting your insulin shots, forgetting the right dosages, will throw your diabetes out of whack.
Right.
Losing your memory over time and forgetting how to take care of yourself, forgetting even the fact of needing to take medications, forgetting how to walk over time, becoming bedbound.
Wow. Okay.
Forgetting how to eat. So all the side effects of losing our memories is what kills us over time.
That's amazing.
With that.
Yeah, so these are plant-based diet reverses load risk factors.
Yes.
And you've talked about this before.
Definitely. These are all the risk factors that have been associated with Alzheimer's disease. Folks who have cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension, and we talked about this before.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that what's good for the heart is good for the brain. And in addition to most of these that we've seen, cholesterol, fats, homocysteine is a marker for inflammation.
Okay.
Also is association. We know that low levels of certain vitamins have been associated with Alzheimer's. Folic acid, B12, ACE. We know that depression actually is an association with Alzheimer's. Probably because those who are depressed are folks who tend to isolate themselves from society. They interact less. They're not out of the house as often. And maybe lack of that mental stimulation.
Hey, let me ask you something really quick, because you've talked about this before, inflammation.
Right.
Okay. What about people who have arthritis and things like that, other diseases that cause, are they more susceptible to getting Alzheimer's, or if they're taking their medications for their Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's, arthritis and such, that some people it comes and goes.
Inflammation is a strong link that we've noticed. As a matter of fact, when we do autopsies of brains of patients who have Alzheimer's, we find a lot of inflammatory cells. These glia cells, inflammatory nerve cells associated with that in the brain. And so we know this link. We know also that inflammation is this generic word, right?
Well, it is.
Inflammation.
That's why I brought up arthritis.
And that's correct. So inflammation is good when it is done for what it's designed to do. For example, a fever. When you are sick, when you have an infection, your body creates a fever, and that fever theoretically creates an environment that makes it hard for bacteria and viruses to survive in.
Right.
The problem is when this inflammation, and fever is inflammation, when this inflammation becomes chronic, long term, it starts to turn in on itself and damages the body itself. Inflammation in the brain, Alzheimer's. Inflammation of the lungs, allergic asthma is inflammation of the lungs. Inflammation of the gut, the GI system. You've heard of Crohn's disease.
Right, yes.
Inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis. That's inflammation of the GI tract. Inflammation of the bones, definitely issues with like rheumatoid arthritis. Inflammation of the skin, eczema, atopic dermatitis. Right? Rosacea, that's all inflammation. So these are all presentations of inflammation throughout our body. It just so happens that inflammation of the brain creates and is part of Alzheimer's.
So if someone has, like I said, RA, or you have rosacea on the skin, it doesn't necessarily mean you're on that path to Alzheimer's. There are different kinds of inflammation.
Not necessarily, but there is a strong association, because we know that whatever causes inflammation here doesn't necessarily stop at the neck. It goes up here as well.
All right.
With that.
Interesting. Here we go. Benefits of inflammatory nutrients.
Yes. Benefits of, published and presented at Boston. Specific products, specific nutrition that shows improvement in cognition. So as you can see, the products on the one hand side, the effects of it measured within a certain number of weeks, right? and the references published in clinical journals from 2010.
So these are all good things over on this
These
side.
are all good things.
Okay.
These are all good things. So omega-3, for example, improves verbal fluency, memory within 3 to 12 months, as published in those journals there with that. So this is really good data.
Wow.
It's really neat stuff that we don't think about, we don't look at until somebody looks at all the data and puts it together.
Yeah, and you know what I find interesting? Some of these we've heard about, juices, blueberries, of course.
Right.
And we're beginning to hear more about turmeric.
Yes.
And even cumin.
Yes, cumin, turmeric, strong anti-inflammatories.
Yeah.
And by cutting down inflammation in general, we cut down our risk for damaging the brain with that. So a good list that somebody can take, and maybe when they go to the market and things of that sort to consider.
Yeah.
I'm not a big pusher for supplements and vitamins.
Right.
I believe that our food should be our medicine. Our food should be our medicine. And but if you're not eating the best foods, and if you're deficient in vitamins and things of that sort, certainly look at this list, and you can certainly supplement it, but diet first among everything else.
Yeah, and a lot of that, you and I have talked about this before, that there are many things that you can eat on more of a limited basis, and
moderation.
You and I will both go out to In-N-Out now and then, but some of these other things, you eat on a daily basis, and we all know what they are.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't. I think most of us, even a kid nowadays, kind of knows this is good for me, this isn't. So
that's right. Knowing is one thing.
Easy.
Implementing is the hard part.
That's true. Great to have you on again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you very much. And I know you'll be back again soon and tell us another one of the adventures that you go on.
That's right.
Sometimes with Alzheimer's, sometimes with tongue out. It's always good to have you on here.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care.
Doesn't he look he's all rare to go today.
That's
good to see you.